water is everything. Water is life.
Everything needs water to survive on this earth, and without it, we'll all die. There is no new water. This is the only water that we have.
You yourself are water. You have to drink it every day. You need it to survive.
Making Relatives is a collective of water protectors across Ireland and also in North America, Turtle Island. And we've been organising for the last few years, bringing together communities resisting extractivism and who are standing up for the water.
These past couple days we've been doing a water ceremony, and so we take the waters from the headwaters, where the river starts, and bringing the water all the way along to the confluence. And so here, it'll end up going out into the ocean. So hello my relatives, my name is Nathan Berglund, and what I just said is that my spirit name is Strong Thunderbird. I'm 19 years old. I come from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I come from the tribes of Oglala, Lakota, and Northern Cheyenne. I believe this is the River Foyle, so we've been walking as closely along. Usually we'll be walking on the highway because we can't walk directly next to the river, and so it's the next best thing. And so we've been walking, these past 2 days, and it's just been great. When we carry the water, we walk with the water, and every step is a prayer. And so I think we do about 30 miles a day. And so these past couple of days have been really great because we've had so much people to come and support us and walk with the water and pray for the water.
When the first initial start of the ceremony, you gather the water and you offer your sema for taking that water from the source of the river. And then you do a tobacco ceremony and you offer your tobacco and you offer prayers for whatever it is there today. And you sing the song. And then there's an actual Nibi water walk song that was created by my Aunt Doreen. And that song has traveled around the world. And we use that song every time we walk for that water.
We're praying for it every single step that we make. And while we're praying, we're basically telling that water, we still love you, we still care about you, we are still here taking care of you, and this is our way to show that.
The women are the ones who take care of the water, and so they're the ones who hold the copper pail as they walk along, as close as we can get to the river.
We are so strong and we are so strong-willed that we're we will do this for this water because the water needs it. Because if nobody else is going to do it, who is? And so that's why we do this work, is because nobody else is going to do it unless we do it first.
Bonjour, Niansen Dishikaz, Mikazin Dodam, and I said to you was hello. And my spirit name is Nians, which means the brown bird that survives the winter. And my clan is the Migizi clan, and I'm from Boyce Fort. So I'm Ojibwe, and so Boyce Fort is the reservation that I'm enrolled in. It wasn't until I think at some point when they realized environmentally the water was being polluted that one of the spiritual leaders by the name of Eddie Benton asked some lodge members, some Three Fire Society lodge members, what will they do for the water? And Josephine Madaman, who is one of the leaders that first did the inaugural walk of Lake Superior in Minnesota, her and some coordinators, and she called upon some other grandmothers to help her. So when she began that, she put out a call to other people in the 4 directions, east, south, north, and west of the United States. And my mom answered the call to take the south, which was to walk from the headwaters of Minnesota to the Gulf of Mississippi, was to join that water, reunite that water from the headwaters to the Gulf of Mississippi, to join that water together.
It's all about making relatives, but it wasn't just about the relatives that we were making with our visitors, it was also about the relatives we were making in our own communities as well. So like the visit to the Spurrins and Silverbrook and Craigan Community Collective, I thought were very important, especially the cross-community element as well at Silverbrook, because people were coming together and expressing how important it was for them even to come together, and I was meeting people for the first time, and now there's relationships developing there, which is fantastic,
Back in 2018, we had a visit from Chaz Jewett, who's a Lakota Water Protector who was involved in Standing Rock. With her, we visited communities resisting extractivism on the island of Ireland, and we visited Leitrim and the Sperrins, who are threatened by gold mining in particular. And so we decided then to organise another visit, inviting the Water Walk ceremony leader Sharon and the Ikidowin acting ensemble to actually perform the sacred ceremony of the Water Walk here in Ireland as part of the resistance and to protect the water that's a threat.
Who can own the water? The sacred Madewa boom that still flows from above? Coca-Cola? Nestle? Walmart? We buy bottled water because we are afraid to drink the chemicalized liquids that flow from our faucets. Today, only 1% of the Earth's water is safe for drinking.
The Ikidowin Youth Acting Ensemble is made up of completely native or indigenous youth, and the age range could go from 12 years old all the way up to, I think the oldest one we have now is 22 years old. And we perform many different plays and pieces talking about different topics that relate to Native youth or any youth really, talking about mental health, historical trauma, protecting and caring for the water, and making sure that tobacco stays sacred, not to use commercial tobacco, and that we actually use tobacco as a medicine. So.
Oh, what a name. Oh, what a name. Oh, what a name. Kiokine, Kiokine. Oh, what a name.
So we have about a group of 6 youth who have come over, and we'll be performing couple short plays, and we'll do the full play over the weekend. So
My name is Kailani. I'm 15. I'm from Standing Rock and Red Lake, and I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Buju Genyo Koinish Nakaz Ga Kapkan Nujba. Hello, my name is Golden Eagle Woman. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. My tribe is Leech Lake, and my English name is Jennifer.
We Lakota Dakota people of the world stand. We stand for the Minnesota River and the Missouri River.
We Ojibwe stand for the Mississippi River. Nibi Owan Mino Bima Diziwin.
We Omaha stand for the Missouri River. Niaka Ni Tawa'i. We Tuscarora stand for the James River. Awake Wanahe.
We Seneca stand for Seneca Lake. Onaganos Oguan Ode.
We Anishinaabe stand for Lake Superior.
Our topics are things that maybe people don't normally consider like youth should talk about. Like we talk about like MMIW, missing murdered Indigenous women, which is a big problem in the US and just all over the world. We talk about depression, mental health, suicide awareness, things like that.
We, the indigenous people of the world, stand. We stand for our mothers. We stand for Mother Earth and all her creations. We stand for the water. We stand here.
And here.
And here. Maybe we're going.
Water is life!
For our group, the main one that does plays, they're like in the summer we have many kids that are really young. Like there's some kids that are as young as 11 years old, and we think that it's really important for them to start learning about this stuff and to start just telling others, like telling their peers, telling their friends, telling their families, because people really need to listen to the youth, and they do listen to the youth. And so we have kids that are like 11 years old, I think 10 years old, some of the new kids that are joining, I don't know how old they are, but they are young. We have like older kids in the group too. Like she's like 19, and her and Nalia like just turned 18 recently. They're there to help and like guide the younger kids and to help teach them more about stuff and just give them tips about life in general, about what we're doing, or just like what you should do in life.
As I sit and listen to the grandmothers, I begin to understand in a profound way my feelings for this spring called cold water.
My name is Janet Sanchez. I'm an enrolled member of the Leech Lake tribe. I'm 22 years old, and I've been working alongside Sharon Day as a water protector for the past 10 years.
The grandmothers say, women are the one who take care of the water. It is we who sing the water songs, asking for blessings from the water spirits, the life force that sustains us all.
I've really enjoyed my stay at Ireland so far the last couple days. Everyone here has been super welcoming. We've been able to walk this entire island almost, and we've seen some really, really amazing stuff, some really amazing views. I love the animals here, and everybody just so loving. It really feels like we're all real relatives.
Now I understand my desire to prevent this road from being built. The heavy equipment used so close will destroy the limestone, destroying the spring. It is a sacred place here. The water bubbles up and it's pure like medicine as it makes its way through the fragile limestone to the surface of the land. Native people have been using this spring since the beginning of time.
So my mom did some advocacy work around Camp Coldwater, which is a natural spring in Minnesota that they wanted to remove and they wanted to put in a road, a highway, to create access, and they protested that, and she was arrested and they treated her pretty bad, but they did end up with lots of Lakota and Dakota people, and lots of people showed up for that protest, and they were able to save some of it. Like that natural spring is still there, but they still put that road through and disrupted that, that part of the earth.
No more to the corporations, to the farmers whose pesticides run off into our rivers and our streams. No more. We will not allow you to continue to pollute our waters, the lifeblood of Mother Earth.
So that's how that began, and that was just something that we knew. Plus they moved lots of trees, which anytime you move trees, you get rid of the oxygen in the air, right? Because the trees bring oxygen. So that was pretty sad day for them to see that go through. So they knew that they had to begin that process, of educating and praying, and that's the only thing they knew.
My previous experiences on water walks, Sharon Day was the one that introduced me to the water walks, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. Like, I'm sure you guys weren't sure entirely what to expect when we came here. And so when we arrived, when I arrived to my first water walk, I just was very eyes open to understanding and do what I'm being told to do. Buju and Gushki Quain Tishnakas, Peyton Indigo, Mikanakawa Joing and Dunjaba, a Sabigane Gazayaning and Dao, Gawino Jadaish Benwanagijwayan. Hello, my name is Wingushki Quay, or Sweetgrass Woman. My English name is Peyton Counts. I'm originally from Turtle Mountain, and I live and work on the Boys Fort Indian Reservation right now. Just apologize if I'm making mistakes speaking, because I'm still learning. To organize everything was hectic. It honestly was a lot of work. And so I think it was a lot of juggling of, okay, who's taking care of what and what's actually happening, and meeting these people I've never met and really trying to coordinate across waters. And so doing that with the time difference along with my full-time job and taking time to dedicate to organize this was a lot, but it was honestly worth it, because I knew, especially as we were meeting more frequently and organizing with the kids and doing rehearsals and making sure everybody got all their passports and making sure all of those small details were taken care of and we were doing things the best way that we could. I felt like the closer we got to it, I was getting more and more excited, because I knew that they would appreciate this experience so much. And so even though it was a lot of hard work and a lot of early mornings or a lot of late nights working on things, seeing this smile on their faces and like the appreciation that they have in their hearts was 10 out of 10, would do it again.
My family was very culturally grounded. That was just who we were, and that's just what they did. And my mom went to ceremonies, every quarter. That we had different ceremonies, spring, fall, winter, what we prayed for, the upcoming, year for the food growing. There's different times and ceremonies. There's a full moon ceremony that only women do, that we do a ceremony for moon, for women. There's naming ceremonies, and there's teachings that happen all the time that are consistently happening. And no, we stayed very true to that. My mom is Madewin, which means she's a part of a Three Fire Society that practices different ceremonies throughout, like I said, throughout the year. There's times that you do different ceremonies, winter, spring, fall. So she's been a part of that, and her journey with the water has always been a part of her life, because growing up, they always had to take care of and carry that water, because they didn't have sewers and you didn't have that. So, from the beginning of time, you've always carried that water, and that's always been a part of it.
Opening and closing ceremonies are sacred, and they share ceremony songs that should only be sung in ceremony. So, and the ceremonies also can't be filmed or photographed because they're considered a sacred space where you're communing with the spirits. So that's why you won't see any images of that.
I think it's important to respect those rules around the ceremony, because they weren't allowed to practice their culture for so long.
The government had you sign treaties and told you they promised you food and water and health care, and they asked you to take this part of the land, and they had you sign a treaty, which then they didn't know what those treaties was, and they did not know what they were signing. So then they became reservations, and they said with that, you can make up your own laws and your own rules, but you have to go over here. Segregation was happening. We were forced onto those parcels of lands. Some of the people we call Turtle Island we call the states, Turtle Island, and they migrated where the food grew on the water. And so that migration started up in that eastern seaboard, and they migrated down this way. And some of them ended up in Minnesota, where the food grew on water, and that's the wild rice. So that's how that became about. And they created their own constitution. It's called the Minnesota Chippewa tribe, has their own constitution where they have policies and they make up their laws for their reservations, and there's 7 of those.
Ikidowin is a part of Indigenous Peoples Task Force, and Indigenous Peoples Task Force actually does so much more than just the youth program. And so what we do is we do Indigibaby, which is indigenous food made baby food, and it's literally like food that we are like known to have grown and like what we have grown before colonization. And we also do free HIV testing in the South Minneapolis where we're from, and we also offer like a lot of different services. We even do Narcan trainings, which is to help people from overdosing. And so Ikidowin is actually like one of the main things that we do, and that is the youth program, and we do acting. And I think like that is so important in the community that we're in, because we have like the opioid pandemic right now, and so many of our kids are getting into that and like getting into drugs, gun violence and stuff like that. So we're like helping them and come learn about their culture and taking them out of that place.
Ireland's beautiful, so to see all the greenery and all the life and all the animals around was such a privilege, and to be able to share this experience with all the kids was such a privilege. We all walked together, and it was a really powerful experience, because I think even when you're walking in nature, there's a beauty to connecting with land, but it's unlike when you're doing a water walk. You're very intentionally there in ceremony, thinking about not only humans, but all of the animal human spirits that are around that make us able to have the fortunate, privileged lives that we have, and how can we give back to those spirits. And so for me, it's really about letting go of all of the stuff that I'm dealing with in my own life, or all these little inconveniences that that pop up that make things really hard on our day-to-days. It's just really nice to be able to let those things go, disconnect from your phone, disconnect from the internet, from the world, and just be in that moment praying.
For me, the best bit was on the second day, and it was my turn to carry the feather of protection, and I was accompanying the person carrying the water. And it was a time where there was thunder and lightning just up ahead, so we could see fork lightning and hear the thunder. And we were passing Dalradian's office. Dalradian's the mining company that wants to mine the sperrins, so it felt very powerful that we were carrying out this sacred ceremony to protect the water, walking by their offices. So for me, that was a highlight.
For me, it was a moment on the second day as well, when 2 of the young people were walking. Nalia was carrying the water and Simar was carrying the feather, and they walked up a country lane, and there was a pony in the field, and the pony started to run alongside them, and they started to run, and it was a really beautiful moment.
For me, walking in Ireland was a completely different experience, because one, this was the first water walk we've done without Sharon as our leader, which was scary, and I think it really shook us to the core of understanding that our spiritual advisors are getting older, and the importance of really being intentional about that time we're in ceremony to learn the things that we need to learn so that we can carry those things forward. And honestly, I really love that we started off with the water walk, because it felt so intentional, and I feel so much more bonded to you. I feel bonded to this land. I feel bonded to Deborah, Vicenza, all of the different organizers that work so hard to put this together and to really understand the solidarity that comes even when you're living across an ocean from one another.
When we were walking over here, someone had told us like the story about how like that boat got into that water and like why it's there, and how like the oil spilled out of that water, and that they didn't want to remove the boat before the oil spilled because it would cost money. But then the oil spilled and it cost even more money to get that cleaned. So it's like we as humans, like we take the easy way out, but like we have to understand like this water is like the water we will have forever. And if we want future generations, we need to be able to take sacrifices to save that water.
When we went to the beach, it was amazing to see the Atlantic, how different it was from, where we are. I think that was a highlight. That was very beautiful. And walking through the terrain here, seeing the greenery, the hills is just, the views are amazing here. You just can't beat that. And being able to walk down those hills in the backcountry, yeah, I've never seen anything like that. So that was really good.
Very grateful and honoured to receive our visitors, and it was like a deeply meaningful experience, and one that we'll never forget, and hopefully our visitors won't forget it either, and that we will go on walking with them and them walking with us, through our struggles, and as we create this world that we want to live in.
I've really made connections with Linda and Deborah and everyone else here who has joined us on our walk. Being on the walk and just chatting about, our family or where we come from or different things that we love, and just establishing connections with everyone.
I remember my mom said to me one time, when you're protesting, anger doesn't get you anywhere. You need to move it with love. Only love can do that. And so she said we need to pray and we need to learn to love one another, because that's what'll bring change.